they don't feel that they would be able to convince a judge and jury of the case. Otherwise, they would want to move forward with one. I'm not a lawyer, but that stands to reason, one would think. On that point, though, I got to give a quick shout out to Andy McCarthy. He had the most compelling political argument of the week, in response to that question. He essentially said this is a political gambit on the part of the president's son, an understandable one, to distract from the real scandal this week, which is the ongoing revelations about the president's mishandling of classified documents, or at the very least, his staff's mishandling of classified documents over the last 3 to 4 decades. That makes sense. That might be a reason why, if you're Hunter Biden, who has become essentially a political operative in the Washington universe now, would want to move forward with letters like this to the Delaware Attorney General and the Justice Department.
Yeah, bit of a brushback pitch.
It's because it's a public opinion strategy, not a legal strategy. Right. Because if Hunter Biden would file a lawsuit, you know very well, the defense to defamation is what?
Well, actual malice.
Or the truth of it, or substantial truth. So in other words, if they were to file a lawsuit, the defense would be what I said is true, and now we're going to prove it. We're going to have depositions, we're going to have subpoenas, and we're going to find out what's going on. They're never going to file a lawsuit.
I don't think anybody wants that.
That's not good for the president either.
Right,
well,
not good.
And something else, and you can address this, Gianna, but something else not good for the president. This morning, the Washington Post, ABC News, they put out a poll that said 62% of people, and this is more than answered this for former President Trump, would be dissatisfied or angry if Biden was reelected. So, Gianna, he's got a lot of things to manage.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of African Americans that feel a similar way. When you look at polling, when you look at the polling of young people, they don't want to see him reelected, and I think for good reason. You know, you were talking about Hunter Biden's bumbling business deals, but I've never found somebody who was bumbling in business deals, making millions of dollars a year, doing $500,000 paintings with no history of being a painter. This is a legitimate issue, I think, for the Biden White House. I think it's his Achilles heel, considering the fact that Hunter Biden did have ownership stake in the house that the classified documents were found in, Joe Biden's classified documents. I think there's a number of other scenarios at play when you think about it. I personally, what I heard about it, like they were trying to weaponize the federal government against those folks that were involved, not saying that it was manipulated data. What's the manipulated data? Did we hear anything about that? It's either it's Russian disinformation or it's now my laptop. So they have a big issue on their hands. I think the House Republicans, that committee that's set to investigate Joe Biden, have a real job on their hands, and now they have federal information to investigate.
This week, Joe Biden was in Philadelphia Democratic National Committee meeting. He was cheered wildly. The numbers indicate it's like 90% of Democrats and huge numbers of black people favor Joe Biden as the Democratic Party nominee. There's just no way. That's not the case for Trump and the Republicans.
They favor him, but they got to change the primary schedule.
Well, let's talk about that, because, listen, that's a test of his power over the party at this point. And there are a number of states, Ryan, who said, even though they took the vote yesterday, putting South Carolina in the first spot, they're not going to go along with it.
Right, because the Democratic National Committee wants to promote conservative Democrat voters so that they can give an advantage to President Trump. And I can tell you, for the Democrat National Committee, because I've done it on the RNC side, President Biden, right. Right.
Trust me, I think the DNC does not want to give any advantage.
So they, what they did in the Rules Committee, by changing these rules, by getting these supermajorities in these committees, it's an enormous amount of machinery that was put in place to do that. So they're going to nominate the one person that any Republican could beat.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Panel, we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you all very much. Up next, Catholic University's Miss Lily Joyner has touched the lives of literally thousands of college kids. She'll put a smile on your face. You'll meet her next.
Nothing is easy. One thing has been effortless.
So now our most important stories of the morning.
Accessing the world's latest financial and political news.
People threatened around the European equity story
has come to a consensus on a use case for Bitcoin.
A positive move between the US and EU. European businesses are investing heavily in China.
Bloomberg Daybreak Europe. Weekdays at 1 a.m. Eastern on Bloomberg Radio, the Bloomberg Business app, and BloombergRadio.com. your 3-day weather forecast on Bloomberg 1130.
Mostly cloudy, breezy, so much milder today, and a high getting up near 50. Tonight becoming partly cloudy and a low down near 35. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, breezy, high again near 50 degrees. What a welcome change after the last couple of days. Tomorrow night, clear to partly cloudy, low 30. And for Tuesday, increasing clouds, high near 45. That's your Bloomberg 3-day weather forecast. I'm Susanna Palmer, now Bloomberg Sports.
At the Garden, the Knicks and 76ers meet for the third time. They split the first two. Add the Clippers to the mix of teams interested in trading for Nets guard Kyrie Irving. Others include the Lakers, Mavericks, and Suns. The Rings with a final year of a deal that pays him $37 million. LeBron James is now 36 points away from breaking the NBA career scoring record held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. James scores 27 in the Lakers' loss at New Orleans. Their next game is Tuesday against the Thunder in Los Angeles. That's a Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Joel Sperr.
On demand and in your podcast feed.
On the latest edition of the Tape Podcast, a conversation with Jeffrey Cleveland of Payton and Regal. It's hard to find something that I don't like in this jobs report.
Well, so Jeff, it's hard to, I guess, it's tough to forecast a recession when everybody's got a job, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, when we look at things, if people are employed, they're working more hours, average hourly earnings is still growing at a pretty decent clip, plus over 4% year on year. That's your spending power. And the economy is 75% consumer, so ultimately you can't be too bearish in that situation. The time where we would get much more bearish would be if aggregate incomes are dropping. And, that's what you saw before 2008, and we're not seeing that here in this data.
What does it mean to the Fed? What does this mean to Jerome Powell, who dubbed out on Wednesday?
Well, it kind of explains a lot. He strode out to the podium, right, and he was getting pushback, right, for some of the reporters. And he's like, okay, you have your forecast, I have mine. All right, we'll see. And he was sort of, he didn't push back heavily, and the market took that as dovishness. But now that you see this data report, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he has his forecast. And they said ongoing increases. So a couple of more rate hikes gets you up over 5%. I think with this data, that's a slam dunk.
And I have heard that there is a margin of error of around 250,000.
In the 2010s, we would say, the number could come out anywhere between plus 100,000 and plus 300,000, and it would be within the realm of possibility. That would be accurate. So there are pretty decent error bars on this. They revise these things annually. They mark them to tax rolls. So I think this is, as far as the economic data goes, this is pretty solid.
Get more of this and other conversations on the latest edition of the Tape Podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Plus, listen anytime on the Bloomberg Business app and Bloomberg.com.
Well, life for students at Catholic University has changed a lot over the last 50 years. One thing has remained the same. Ms. Willie. On paper, she's a cafeteria worker, handling the counters and supplies, students dashing in and out of their meals. But in reality, she is a friend, a cheerleader, even a second mom for the kids that she sees every day. Knowing what a treasure they have on their hands, the school decided to honor Miss Willie, and she sat down with me to talk about it.
I feel like it's a gift that God's given me, a hospitality gift. All right, y'all. We have guests in the house.
Willie Joyner.
All right, good morning.
On her work as hostess, friend, and confidant to tens of thousands of students over nearly 5 decades at Washington's Catholic University.
Good morning. It's just not a cafeteria. They need to feel comfortable and loved. I fill up ketchup, napkins, whatever's needed.
She manages the lunch rush as hundreds grab a bite while dealing with the stress of classes, exams, professors, and the roller coaster of their first years away from home.
She's like a family over here. Even if you're sitting alone, she'll accompany you. We love Miss Willie. She's like our mom.
Hey, sweetie. I'm good. How y'all feeling this morning?
How much power do you think there is in just that quick hug, that quick hello, or somebody noticing that somebody's missing or asking them about a test? How powerful do you think those small things are?
When you hug someone, it's a certain hug that you give to let them know that's a genuine hug.
It's a Miss Willie hug.
It's a Miss Willie hug. That's it. Well, hi, babies. Good morning, baby. Hi, baby. How are you this morning?
The students call her Miss Willie.
Hi, Miss Willie.
She calls them her babies.
These are my babies. Good morning, babies. They gotta be named something. I can't remember everybody's name, so okay, I'm gonna name them babies. Everybody's babies. So from the president on down, this baby. Baby, where you been? I haven't seen you. I'll send a message just to let them know they're still in my heart. So let's go and I got to check tables and see what's going on with that, okay?
We were with Miss Willie on the first day of her 50th year on the job, and you'd have thought a celebrity was making the rounds.
Oh, man, outstanding co-worker, man. I mean, you see the kids, the community love her, so she an icon, man. We're getting an icon, man.
Miss Willie's the best ever. She cares about us so much, and she's always giving us hugs, and so I'm going to give you a hug.
Today is a special anniversary. You're starting another year of creating these babies, these relationships, and pouring into people.
Yes. I got grandbabies coming now. There's grandbabies. I have people that left. Their children came back. Their children is gone, graduated. I get pictures. I get cards. I get a lot of stuff that just lets me know that they still think of me. And that's a blessing. That is an honor and a blessing.
Ms. Willie received a new kind of honor this fall when her babies, who are now alumni, rallied together to make sure a new dining room on campus was named after her. Looking behind us, what did you think when you heard this was going to happen, and what do you think when you see it now?
To let me know that it was alumni that love me and care enough and still thinking about me to be able to do this in this building. But this right here, I never, it is a imagine.
There's ever evidence of angels being on earth. It is that woman right there. I promise you. She is a national treasure.
I heard you called an angel, the very embodiment of joy. Do you think you have a full understanding of how much you mean to people?
To a point, yes. Yes. I know that I mean a lot to them. That's why it's hard for me to take off a day's work, because I want to be there to support them.
Mm-hmm. So almost 50 years that you've been here, and I know they'd love to have you for another 50.
Oh, Lord, you think?
But yeah, of course they would. But when the day comes that you feel like your mission here, your work is done here, what do you want people to remember about you?
Miss Willie's smile, Miss Willie's honesty, Miss Willie love. How's your day going so far? Hearing about what happens to them.
Gonna be okay?
Yeah. That's what I would like to leave, that Miss Willie loved each and every one. Always some love.
What a legacy, and it makes us want to honor the other Miss Willies in our lives. Let's do that. And before we go, a programming note, Fox News Channel will have special coverage Tuesday night of the President's State of the Union address. Brett Baer and Martha McCallum will anchor starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you here on this Fox station as I anchor coverage on Fox broadcast at the same time. Before we go, a very special thank you to everyone who has purchased a copy of one of my books. It's because of you I can share this morning that nearly 1 million copies of Women of the Bible Speak and Mothers and Daughters of the Bible Speak have been sold. It's all because of you. I hope you've been encouraged, as I have, by the women in these books. I'm excited to share. There are more stories coming. Fox News Books and I will announce the third installment of the trilogy on Fox and Friends Wednesday morning. I hope you'll love it. That's your hint. Please tune in. Thank you, Juan. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shannon Bream. Have a great week. We will see you next Fox News Sunday.
Join us in Atlanta on February 28th for Bloomberg's Intelligent Automation Briefing about transformation in a time of uncertainty. During this special evening event, top business and IT executives will gather to explore ways in which intelligent automation can offset economic pressures and help organizations thrive by enhancing operational efficiencies and stakeholder value. This program is proudly sponsored by IBM. Register at BloombergLive.com/automation/radio.
This winter, there's only one choice for a warm weather vacation where you can enjoy everything under the sun. Welcome to the Breakers Palm Beach. Sink your toes into the soft sand of the Breakers tropical beachfront and relax at 4 refreshing pools. Unwind at the Breakers Indoor-Outdoor Spa and invigorate your senses at the resort's oceanfront fitness center. Savor delectable dining at 10 distinctive restaurants. Up your game with 36 holes of golf and perfect your swing at the resort's 10 hard true tennis courts. For those seeking a more exclusive stay, the Breakers Flagler Club is a private access hotel within the hotel, offering a luxuriously customized experience. What's even better, paradise is just a short flight away. So now that winter has arrived, when will you? To reserve your getaway, visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
Dear Calvary Hospital, my father, Curtis Moore, is my hero. Now 96 years old, he has led an exceptional life of self-sacrifice. A Moffett Point Marine, a New York City detective, and a family man who cared for his children and grandchildren his entire life. So when other hospitals could no longer relieve his suffering or our family's emotional pain, we brought in Calvary's miraculous team of home hospice experts. Thanks to Calvary's doctors, nurses, and social workers, Dad was able to resume the quality of life he wanted and deserved, and I was able to become his daughter again, surrounded by the love of his entire family. Thank you, Calvary. Phyllis Robinson.
This is Frank Calamari, president of Calvary Hospital. With Calvary at Home, experience our unique Calvary care right in your own home. Call us today at 7